Okay, how's it going? So how are we going to do the squat properly? This is a little video to break down the various stages that you can develop through a squat and how to do them safely and avoid giving yourself back pain. Alright, so what do you do? Feet just slightly further apart than your shoulders, pointing out ever so slightly, and you draw the belly button in towards the spine to activate your transverse abdominis. From here, you quite simply just drop the bum backwards and fall into the squat position. You might want to bring your arms out here to make it a little bit of balance for you. Come back up, keeping the pressure of your knees outwards. One thing to watch out for on the squat is that the knees are going to want to, on some people, turn in a little bit, usually one side more than the other. So you don't want this kind of thing to happen. So the way that you counteract that is you, again, draw the core in, belly button towards spine. As you come down, just push your knees out slightly. Imagine they're pushing out against an imaginary glass wall. As you come back up, activating your glutes, activating your quads, pushing your knees out slightly, come back up. Now, what I like to do as I come back into that upright position is to really squeeze the glutes. This is what keeps your core, your frame, everything really strong and protected, particularly your low back. So I'll show you from the side. Bring your arms up to make it easier for you. Squeeze the knees out, core in, hip hinge to come down. Squeeze the bums, come back up, and it's kind of like a pop at the top. You want to pop up into it, keep everything really tight. Okay, one more time. Squeezing back up, and it's a pop to come back into it. Okay, so that's the most basic squat variation, the air squat. What you can do is progress that very easily. A couple of points before we do that. Some of the ways that you avoid back pain with the squat is make sure you're not leaning forward too much. When you progress and you've got weights, this is a classic mistake. People will squat really bent forward, and that can actually aggravate your back quite a bit. So whenever you squat, you want to make sure you try and keep yourself reasonably upright and the weight straight down the center line. So that's an important one. Another mistake that people classically make is arching the back too much. This is why it's important that you draw the belly button in towards the spine. So if you forget to brace your core and you come down with the pelvis tilted, you really load up the discs and the joints of your low back, something that you're going to want to avoid as much as possible. Okay, so once you've gone through basic air squats and you've mastered that, you can look at using a weight, for example, just a kettlebell. This is a 24 kilogram one. You might want to start a bit lighter, maybe a 10 kilo to begin with. Again, it's the exact same principle. Hold it against your chest, or you can even hold it here and squeeze the knees out, down to where you're comfortable, squeezing back up, using the glutes at the top to really clench. Coming back down, squeezing back up, holding it really tight at the top. Okay, so those are some of the basic variations. Some getting into slightly more advanced squats. This is what you'll see people do in the gym. The barbell comes behind the back. There's a couple of different variations there. You can have the low bar, which comes down underneath the top of the shoulder, and the high bar up at the top of the shoulder. There's also the front squat. These are all variations on a theme. So the front squat's a really nice one for lower back rehabilitation. Arms up here, elbows are up. Again, exactly the same process, coming down, squeezing back up and popping at the top. With the bar behind your back, exact same process, it's just slightly different load on the joints and ligaments. So those are nice variations to build up to. Another great one is barbell above your head, a straight arm squat. So this brings balance into play. You can be holding the barbell above your head. You can even just do it with a broom handle like I'm doing right now. Squeeze your shoulder blades down back, activate your core, keep the knees nice and soft. Bum back to start the movement, squeeze the knees out, trying to keep yourself really upright. Get down to as low as you're comfortable, and then squeeze back up. Another variation which people quite like is the narrow squat. So this is a nice way to build if you're just doing air squats. This is one great variation to throw in. Just your knees and feet are together, arms can come up wherever they're comfortable. I like to just hold them like this in the middle and slowly down, really controlled, and back up. This one's more difficult to maintain balance on because you've got less of a stance to stabilize yourself on. So that's one really nice variation. And another really nice variation is one foot in front of the other. Okay, again, if you're a bit wobbly, if you don't have much experience, you might want to start with the feet apart, but this is a nice addition to build in. So again, you just squeeze down and back up. Squeeze down and back up. So that's a good variation as well. One final one, a little more of an advanced type of squat, which some people can build into, is the pistol squat. So get exactly the same process. Engage your core, soften the knee, activate the glutes, leg out in front of you, slowly lower down. So this one's usually good to have your arms out in front of you and then squeeze back up. So that's the easier version of it. When you get a bit more advanced, you might build into the full, dropping it down. Takes a bit of practice and then squeezing back up. Your form might not be perfectly pretty on that, but it is a harder exercise to do. So there you have it, a few very simple squat variations. Begin with the basics, nice basic air squat, feet slightly wider than shoulders, make sure you activate the core. Begins with a hip hinge, so it begins with the bum coming back, loading up through your quads, your hamstrings, your glutes, feel the squeeze, make sure you push your knees out, don't let them deviate in, and then breathe out. Squeeze back up with a little pop at the top, making sure you squeeze tight here. That's going to protect your back. So there you have it. Squat variations, progressions, and how to keep it safe.